It is when you stand at the gates of transformation that the enemy whispers loudest. Have you ever felt that just as you're about to change, when your life begins to shift, when your mind sharpens, when your soul stirs with new power, everything suddenly goes wrong? The people closest to you turn cold. Old habits return with a vengeance. Strange dreams wake you at night. Doubts claw at your confidence, like shadows dragging you back into the dark. This isn't coincidence. It's not bad luck. It's not even just your subconscious resisting change. It's war. Not a war of bombs or bullets, but a war of energy, perception, and spirit. And here's the secret few are willing to admit. The enemy attacks the hardest right before the breakthrough, because that's when you are most dangerous. Why? Because your vibration is rising. Because you're shedding the false skin of who the world told you to be. Because you're nearing a gate, one you were never meant to cross without resistance. This ancient threshold, spoken of in mystery schools, esoteric traditions, and sacred texts, is what mystics call the guardian of the threshold. Rudolf Steiner, the Austrian mystic and founder of anthroposophy, spoke of this force as a mirror of all you have not yet conquered within yourself. And it appears not to stop you, but to test you. Every spiritual path, every genuine awakening must pass through this rite. And so, the attacks come. Distractions, emotional sabotage, external chaos, spiritual fatigue. But here's the twist. The enemy, whether seen as external darkness or internal resistance, cannot truly harm you. It can only deceive. Its weapon is illusion. And the more powerful your light, the more elaborate the illusion becomes. So, the real question is, will you recognize the battle when it begins? Who or what is the enemy? The greatest trick the enemy ever pulled was convincing you that it looks like someone else. Not a person, not a shadowy government, not a demon with horns or a devil in red. The enemy is far more cunning. It is ancient, it is patient, and it speaks in your own voice. In mystical teachings across the ages, from the Gnostic texts of early Christianity to the Vedantic scriptures of India, the enemy has many names. Mara, the archons, the adversary, Ahriman, the false ego. But its essence is the same. It is the force that feeds off fear, doubt, confusion, distraction, and despair. It is the whisper that says, "Who do you think you are to rise?" It is the heaviness you feel the moment you decide to grow. It is the sudden chaos after you've made a sacred vow to change. In ancient Sufi tradition, the enemy was called Nafs el-Amara, the commanding self. In Christian mysticism, it's the world, the flesh, and the devil, symbols of inner and outer deception. Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology, gave it another name, the shadow. He taught that this shadow isn't evil in itself, but when denied, it becomes dangerous. Because what you suppress becomes what controls you. So who or what is the enemy? It's the pain you haven't faced. It's the identity you're too afraid to outgrow. It's the addiction to suffering that feels like home. It's the programming implanted through trauma, culture, and ancestral wounds. And yet, here's the mystery that confounds even the wise. The enemy is also your teacher. Just as fire tempers steel, resistance strengthens resolve. The attacks are not punishments. They are invitations. They force you to choose again and again, between illusion and truth, reaction and awareness, sleep and awakening. But to win this war, you must name your enemy, because what remains unnamed remains in power. The moment of attack, why it always happens right before breakthrough. Why does it strike then, when the light is closest? Why not earlier, when we are asleep, unaware, spinning in circles? Because then you are no threat. The enemy watches quietly when you are stuck in patterns, trapped in cycles, lulled into forgetting who you are. But the moment your frequency begins to shift, the moment your inner flame flickers with remembrance, the alarm sounds. The ancient Hermetic axiom says, "As above, so below. As within, so without." This means that the battlefield is not out there, it's inside you. And any time you move toward your highest timeline, your soul's true path, the matrix of falsehood around you starts to crack. But make no mistake, the system of illusion is alive. It senses movement. It detects awakening. It resists anything that threatens its control. So what happens? You start a new spiritual practice, and suddenly, you're more exhausted than before. You decide to break a toxic pattern, and chaos erupts in your relationships. You commit to healing, and old traumas rise from the depths like ghosts demanding to be heard. This is not failure. This is friction, the heat generated when you're piercing the veil. In Kabbalistic teachings, there's a concept called the Sitra Achra, the other side. This is the domain that resists holiness, not because it is evil, but because it must. Its job is to test your resolve, to weigh your will, to ensure you are truly ready to carry more light. Just like a snake sheds its skin, your soul must release the layers it no longer needs. But shedding is painful, vulnerable, dangerous. That's when the attack comes. Because right before the breakthrough, you are naked between who you were and who you are becoming. And the enemy loves to strike in that in-between. But if you recognize the pattern, you can hold your ground. You can say, "Ah, here it is, the signal that I am close." And that shift from fear to awareness is what the enemy fears most. How to recognize the signs of spiritual attack? The signs are subtle at first. They don't come with a warning. They don't announce themselves with thunder or smoke. They whisper, they weave, they distort. But once you learn the patterns, you begin to see the fingerprints of spiritual interference everywhere. And once seen, they lose their power. Here are the 7 veils that often cloak a spiritual attack. 1. Sudden irrational doubt. You were clear yesterday, firm in your decision. But today, your mind is fogged. You second-guess everything. This isn't just mental chatter, it's energetic interference. It often mimics your own voice, but if you listen closely, there's a foreign tone, a flavor of fear, not truth. 2. Emotional overwhelm from nowhere. Tears fall without a known cause. Anger rises at minor things. Old wounds resurface like reopened scars. When your emotional body is suddenly flooded, especially during key transitions or after spiritual breakthroughs, this is often a sign that something is trying to pull you back into resonance with your past self. 3. Physical exhaustion without explanation. You've slept, you've eaten, but your body feels heavy, drained, disconnected. Why? Because your energy field is under pressure. Light entering the system forces density to the surface, and the enemy, both internal and external, feeds off your fatigue. 4. Unusual external chaos. Technology glitches, conflicts erupt. Doors that were open suddenly slam shut. This is what occult teacher Dion Fortune referred to as psychic pressure zones. Moments when the spiritual tension becomes so strong it bleeds into the material world. 5. Night disturbances and strange dreams. Sleep is sacred. It's when the soul travels. But during spiritual attack, your sleep may become fractured, filled with nightmares, or dominated by symbols of fear, temptation, or confusion. In many traditions, this is known as astral interference, a battle for your subconscious terrain. 6. Isolation and the urge to withdraw from support. One of the oldest tricks in the book, make the soul feel alone. You'll feel like no one understands. You'll feel embarrassed to ask for help. You'll convince yourself to go silent, to self-isolate, to retreat. But understand this, isolation is the playground of spiritual deception. 7. Sudden urges to break sacred commitments. You'll feel the pull to skip your practice, to return to the toxic relationship, to numb out, to give up, to just rest for a while. This is the last line of defense from the enemy. Temptation, disguised as self-care. When these signs appear, especially more than one at a time, pause. Don't react. Don't run. Instead, say quietly to yourself, I see you. Because the moment you call it by name, the illusion starts to unravel. Practical tools to stand firm in the storm. When the winds rise and shadows twist, it is not enough to merely understand the war. You must be prepared to withstand it. Spiritual warfare is not fought with fists or fury, but with frequency, focus, and faithful action. And while the enemy moves through illusion, your strength lies in truth, alignment, and embodiment. Here are the sacred tools, drawn from ancient paths and modern wisdom, to anchor you in the storm. The armor of clarity. Daily grounding. Begin each day not with a scroll, but with silence. Before the world enters your space, take 5 to 10 minutes to root into your body and spirit. Place your bare feet on the earth. Breathe slowly and repeat, I am sovereign. I am shielded. I walk in truth. This simple practice creates a protective frequency field, what mystics have called the aura of light, or the Merkaba shield. Without grounding, you are open. With it, you become immovable. 2. The sword of the word. Speak with power. Words are not just sounds, they are spells. When under attack, do not stay silent. Speak aloud affirmations or prayers with force and conviction. Use sacred phrases like, I do not consent to interference. All energies not of my highest good must leave now. I command full alignment with my soul's path. Sound disrupts lower vibrations. Your voice is your weapon. Wield it. 3. Sacred fire. Use of salt, smoke, and flame. The ancients knew the elements can purify the unseen. Burn frankincense, sage, or palo santo to clear your space. Place bowls of salt in the corners of your room to absorb negative energy. Light a candle as a symbol of your inner flame, and whisper your intention into its fire. Fire and smoke reveal what hides in shadow. They also remind your spirit, you are not helpless, you are the altar. 4. The mirror of self-inquiry. Journal without censorship. The attacks often strike your identity, so return to it. Write down what's happening. Be raw, be honest. Ask, what am I afraid of right now? What part of me is trying to die? What breakthrough might this resistance be guarding? This transforms suffering into signal. The journal becomes your sacred map through the storm. 5. The shield of community. Don't walk alone. Even mystics had councils. Warriors had comrades. When the pressure builds, reach out. Call a spiritual friend. Message your guide. Join a circle of practice. Darkness thrives in isolation, but it cannot survive shared light. 6. The breath of God. Conscious breathwork. When all else fails, return to breath. It is the ancient rhythm that reminds you are alive and you are in control. Breathe in for 4 counts. Hold for 4. Release for 8. Do this for several minutes and observe. The chaos quiets. The field stabilizes. Why? Because fear cannot anchor in a calm body, and breath is the bridge from fear to faith. Spiritual warfare is real, but so is your power. The battle isn't to destroy the enemy. It's to remember who you were before you forgot. To reclaim your essence. To stand, even trembling, and declare, I choose light. And when you do, the storm obeys. The hidden gift within the attack. Why the darkness appears. It is the oldest paradox in the spiritual path. The darkness does not come to destroy you. It comes to reveal you. You see, the enemy only attacks what it fears. It doesn't waste its energy on the sleeping, the distracted, the comfortably numb. It comes for the ones who are waking up. It stirs when you begin to remember who you truly are. It rises not to stop your growth, but to test if you're ready to hold it. And here lies the hidden alchemy. Every spiritual attack contains within it a coded initiation. Just as a sword is heated and hammered before it can cut through illusion, you too must be forged. When the attack comes, ask, what is this trying to teach me? What weakness is it trying to expose? What strength is it asking me to embody? Because what the enemy means for harm, the soul can turn to power. In ancient mystery schools, initiates were intentionally placed in darkness, buried underground, starved of light, even sent into visions of death. Only when they passed through fear could they emerge reborn, warriors of light, carrying wisdom earned, not given. You are in that same ritual now. Each attack is a rite, each resistance a mirror, each breakdown a doorway to the breakthrough. So don't curse the darkness too quickly. Let it come. Let it reveal what still trembles. Let it burn away what you can no longer carry. Because here is the final secret, whispered through every sacred text, every shamanic dream, every quiet moment of divine knowing. The enemy appears most fiercely, right before your soul remembers its wings. And once you take flight, once you cross that threshold, the war ends not with blood, but with light. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. See you in the next one.